The third was a project called Superman Reborn, and that's what piqued my interest. I was like, Superman? You guys are going to make another Superman movie? And they said, we're thinking about it. I said, can I would love to do that. And they said, well, that's a long shot. I can't give you that right here in the room. That has to go through a bunch of people because it's a big Warner Brothers franchise. So I said, well, what do I have to do? Whose fucking dick do I have to suck to get this job? And thankfully he didn't say his. But he said he'd give a shot at it. And I said, all right, awesome. And he goes, it's pending approval of the producer. I said, who's the producer? And they said, John Peters. I said, all right, what do I got to do? They're like, you got to go meet with him. I said, okay. Now, John Peters, if you don't know, he's a producer on movies like, he was an exec producer, or producer in name only on Rain Man. He was a producer on Batman. He was a producer on The Main Event, the Barbra Streisand boxing movie. Which is how he got his start in the business. He used to be Barbra Streisand's hairdresser. And then one day he became a producer. Because in Hollywood, you just kind of fail upwards. I come down and sit down with him. He says, they tell me you got to take on Superman. I said, I do. He said, let me hear it. And I tell it to him. After a while, I'm done. He's just nodding, looking at me, nodding. He goes, you know why you and me are going to do a good job on Superman? And I said, why? He's going, because you and me, we get Superman. You know why? I said, no. He said, because you and me, we're from the streets. He's like, I got some directives for you if you're going to move forward on the process. Some things I want you to do and don't in the script. He's going, 3 things. Okay. I said, all right. So 1, I don't want to see him in that suit. 2, I don't want to see him fly. And 3, he's got to fight a giant spider in the 3rd act. And I'm like, let's go back to 1. When you say don't, but the giant spider intrigues me. Why that? And he's like, do you know anything about spiders? And I said, I mean, no. And he said, well, they're the fiercest killers in the insect kingdom. And I was like, what's that have to do with our non-flying Superman? Shot. So I went back to Warner Brothers and sat down with them, and they said, we heard from him, he likes you, we're going to hire you, you're going to move forward. Did he bring up the spider? I said, he did, he brought up the spider. He tell you guys about the spider? They're like, every day with the fucking spider. I said, what should I do? They're like, just do it, but try not to call it a spider. Can you call it something else? And I was just like, Thanagarian snare beast? And they were like, there, go. But when Tim Burton got signed onto the project, Tim Burton signed a pay-or-play deal, which essentially means no matter what happens, Tim Burton gets paid whatever his directing fee was. I think at that point it was $10 million, $5 to $10 million. Tim Burton, once he signs the deal, turns around and says, I'm going to bring on my guys to write a script. And the Warner Brothers guys were like, well, what about the script we're developing? And he said, I don't want to use that, I want to do my own script. Presumably a version of Superman where he has scissors for hands. But I was really reminded the next summer when I went to the movies and saw a movie that John Peters had produced. And it was called The Wild Wild West. So I'm sitting in the theater watching the movie. I'm like, good Lord, this is a piece of shit. But then all of a sudden, like a giant fucking spider shows up.